Welcome to the Real L's podcast. If you want to grow, learn, and elevate, you're in the right place. Let's get into the conversation.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Real L's podcast. I'm your host, Coach Ray Hendricks, founder of Men of Temperate Strength. Now, today, we're actually flipping the script. Last episode, we talked about recreation versus marriage. So, in that conversation, we talked about temporary women versus women who are built for long-term partnership. Today, doing it a little different. Like I said, we're flipping the script. This episode is for the ladies. Today's conversation is called Builders versus Players. And this conversation matters because a lot of women are emotionally investing into men who were never emotionally available in the first place. Now, a lot of women are dating for potential instead of looking at patterns. And fellas, some of us, we've contributed to that confusion. So before anybody gets defensive, let me say this. This episode is not about attacking men. This episode is about accountability, discernment, leadership, emotional maturity, growth, and understanding the difference between a man that wants to build with you and a man that simply wants access to you. Now, every confident man is not a quality man, and every smooth talking man is not emotionally disciplined. So we have to get into it. So we're going to say this. We're going to figure this out. What is a player? Now, let's talk honestly. A player is not just a man who dates multiple women. Let's get that out the way. A player is a man who creates emotional confusion while benefiting from emotional access. Now, that's just the real definition that I'm going to give you guys today. Now, this is the type of man who enjoys attention more than connection, enjoys access more than responsibility, enjoys validation more than discipline, and enjoys the chase more than commitment. And ladies, one thing about players, they usually know exactly what to say. So they study your emotions, they study insecurities, they study loneliness, and they also study timing. Sometimes the most dangerous men are not the loud ones at all. They're the emotionally intelligent manipulators. So we got to be careful out there, ladies. So sign one that you might be dealing with a player is inconsistent communication. One day he's fully invested, calling, texting, complimenting you, planning things, giving nonstop attention, right? Then suddenly, distance, confusion, slow replies, cold energy, and now you're sitting there wondering, like, what changed? Let me tell y'all something. Consistency tells the truth faster than words ever will. A man who is serious about you does not disappear emotionally every other week. So sign number 2, future faking. Now, players love selling dreams, talking about marriage, trips, moving in, future plans. You're different. I've never felt this way before. Before, they've even shown you consistency, they're really in that pocket, right? Now, anybody can paint a picture, but builders actually build the picture. So a man's words mean nothing if his actions can't sustain them. So we're going to look at sign 3. It's addicted to attention. Now, some men, they don't want just one woman. They want consistent validation from many women. These are men who do this. They keep backup options, flirt consistently, entertain unnecessary attention, need female validation to feel important. And ladies, a man addicted to attention is usually not disciplined enough for commitment. Now, sign number 4, they want wife benefits while living like a bachelor. Now, this one right here is real. Some men want loyalty, emotional support, peace, exclusivity, consistency, and nurturing energy, while giving emotional confusion, instability, selfishness, and immaturity in return. Now, that's not leadership at all. What that is selfishness disguised as masculinity. A lot of men want the reward of commitment without the responsibility of commitment, okay? Now, sign number 5, they like to avoid accountability. So every ex was crazy. Every failed relationship was somebody else's fault. Now, every mistake has an excuse, right? And every excuse has a mistake attached to it. Now, players, they avoid accountability because accountability actually requires growth. So what builders understand is growth starts with honesty first. Now, ladies, I just want to tell you a little something honestly. Charm is not character, okay? Confidence is not discipline, and attraction is not leadership, okay? We gotta know that. Just because a man knows how to pursue you does not mean that that man knows how to protect, lead, or build with you in the long term. So we got to keep that in mind. Now we got the players out of the way. We're going to focus on the builders. So what is a builder? Now, a builder is not perfect. Let me just say that clearly. A builder is not perfect at all. A builder is intentional. So this is a man who values growth, values discipline, consistency, peace, structure, and accountability. Okay? And most of all, he values emotional control. And one thing about a real builder is that peace usually follows him, not confusion at all, not manipulation, not emotional games, peace. So sign 1 that he's a builder is his actions actually match his words. Builders don't just talk consistency, they actually live consistency. If he says he's going to call, he calls. If he says he's going to show up, he shows up. If he says he values you, his behavior reflects it. Real relationship reveals itself through actions, okay? Sign 2, he actually has a vision. A builder is building something. His life actually has direction. His decisions have intention. And ladies, let me say this clearly. That does not mean he has to be already rich, okay? But he should have discipline, goals, focus, work ethic, structure, emotional maturity, most of all. Now, a man without direction will eventually create instability in his relationships. Remember that. Now, sign 3, he handles conflict like a man. Anybody can be calm when life is easy, but how does he respond under pressure, right? During disagreements, during stress, during difficult conversations. Builders actually communicate. Players manipulate, disappear, deflect, or emotionally shut down. Emotional discipline actually matters, ladies. Sign number 4, he actually protects what he builds. A builder protects. Now he's going to protect his peace, his woman, his family, his reputation, his purpose, and his future. And not through control either, through actual leadership. There's a difference between the two. Now, what we're going to talk about now is just personal accountability, right? Because you know I love accountability. So, with personal accountability, let me just hold men accountable too, right? Now, I don't want to sit here and pretend like I've always had everything figured out. I actually haven't, and I still don't. But I'm learning, right? And as I'm learning, I'm giving the information. Now, I've lived both sides of this conversation. There was a time in my younger years where I thought being a player meant success, attention from women, validation, ego boost, temporary excitement. You know, I chased some of that too. And honestly, in the moment, felt great, right? But long term, it's empty because eventually you realize that consistently chasing attention doesn't build peace. It actually builds confusion, instability, emotional damage, and unhealthy cycles. Now, I'm just being real with you all. Now, even later in my life, there were moments where I still fell back into foolishness and old habits. Moments where ego showed up, where immaturity showed up, where I ignored, what I already knew was right. But one thing I'm grateful for is my awakening. Therapy helped me, self-reflection helped me, accountability helped me. I really had to sit down and ask myself a few questions. Why was I moving this way? And what was I really searching for? What void was I trying to fill? Why was temporary validation controlling permanent decisions? And maturity forced me to realize something. Sometimes the problem isn't just who we choose, it's who we are while choosing. That changed me a lot. I started realizing where I went wrong, where I lacked discipline, where I lacked emotional maturity, where I mishandled good people, and where I confused attention with fulfillment. And one thing I can honestly tell men is this one thing: peace feels way better than chaos. I tell you that. In purpose, it also feels better than ego. Building something meaningful will always feel better than collecting temporary experiences that leave you empty afterward. That's when you reach growth. That's when healing comes in. And that's the difference between performing masculinity and actually becoming a man. Now, questions women should ask. Now, ladies, I'm going to tell you this: before getting emotionally attached to a man, ask yourself these questions. Is he consistent? Is he emotionally disciplined? Does he communicate clearly? Does he take accountability? Does his behavior match his words? Is he building something? Does peace follow him or chaos? And lastly, does he protect or does he consume? All right? Because attention is easy to find, leadership is very, very rare. Now, closing my thoughts and everything else, at the end of the day, a player can entertain you, but a builder can actually help you grow. A player chases moments, a builder builds futures. And one thing life will I absolutely teach you very quickly is looks fade, charm fades, excitement fades, but discipline, leadership, emotional maturity, consistency, and purpose, those things create stability. Now, I want you all to remember that. So I know it's a lot of information that we went over. I just want it all to sink in. Now, I also want to tell you this: if you've been rocking with these conversations and you want more consistency centered content like emotional discipline, leadership, resilience, self awareness, growth, masculinity, healing, and legacy, just make sure you visit menoftemperstrength.com and go check out everything that we're building there. So we've got books, programs, merch, coaching content. We also have a full community dedicated to the men. All right. Now make sure you all check out the House of Temper Strength as well. You can pick up some merch there. And if this episode helped you at all, make sure you share it with somebody that needs it. Because healing conversations, they actually matter. Growth matters and accountability matters. Now, this has been the Real L's podcast. I'm Coach Ray Hendricks. And remember this: Men of Temper Strength is not motivation, it's formation. Salute, master builders and buildettes.